when VP Sara was asked, what do you think is the reason why natalo ang mga kandidato ni Bongbong Marcos or yung sa admin slate? Ang sinabi ni VP Sara, because of the president. Okay, let's highlight this, because of the president. Ang ibig sabihin niya, ang ibig niyang ipaabot sa mga watchers sa interview niya, guys, is ganito. Yung president kasi natin, maraming mga mga plataforma in 2022, maraming mga promises na hindi nabuo or hindi there are many promises that weren't implemented. So one of the promises that Bongbong Marcos said is the 20 kilos of rice, okay? Hello everyone, how are you guys? Happy Saturday. So, as you can see, I'm currently wearing Bring Him Home. Ganda, no? Because this is going to be our topic for today. And before that, to my 44 viewers so far, do you guys know who this person is? Kilala nyo yan? Kung sino yan? Hi, Diyos ko Lord. Okay, wait. Hi, chat view. Okay, here. Gwapa ha. Gwapa, no? Walang katulad ba? Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na at least ako, kahit 99.9% lang ako na almost perfect lang, hindi naman ganyan ang mukha ko. Nakikita nyo yan? Ano yung masasabi ninyo? To my 400 viewers. Hindi. Ako, accepted ko yung lahat ng mga flaws ko in life, yung mga imperfections ko. Alam ko na hindi ako makinis because I have a very sensitive skin. In my previous Facebook live, sinabi ko na sa inyo na yung skin ko, pwede kayong mag-draw dito. Pwede nyo siyang guhitan, pwede nyo isulat yung mga pangalan niyo, so magsiswell siya ganyan. Hindi naman siya makate. Tapos I did my skin test na din and hindi naman daw siya problem talaga. So it's just the reaction, normal reaction of my skin. Kaya kung nakikita nyo, hindi ako makinis ganyan. Na-enhance lang yung parang complexion ko ngayon because I have 2 lights na ginagamit ko. So, at least ako, nakikita nyo ako guys na nagla-live sa social media, nagpo-post ng videos, hindi lang photos ang pinopost ko. And as you can see, medyo sem-sem naman, di ba? Ang hindi ko maintindihan, may mga tao talaga na, grabe, hugis bigas yung yung dito nila sa TikTok na mga videos nila or mga photos nila, grabe yung mga jawline. Pero in reality pala, ganito. Sandali lang, I can't contain my talaga laughter. Guys, before kayong manglait ng ibang tao, siguraduhin nyo muna na yung filter na gamit ninyo ay sem-sem kung ano kayo sa personal. Dahil kung iba yung gamit ninyo na filter na sobrang perfect, define masyado yung mga jawlines, tapos yung mga yung cheekbone and everything, tapos perfect masyado yung yung mga eyebrows, pero in person pala para kayong tabili. You know what tabili, guys? Ay, Diyos ko Lord. Sandali lang, tawang-tawa talaga ako. Hugis. Grabe naman yun, guys. Grabe hugis bigas. Ako, nanibago siguro kayo sa akin ngayon because nag-shave ako. So, medyo nakita niyo yung medyo define yung dito ko ngayon. Kasi hindi naman talaga hindi naman talaga ako pangit, di ba? Hugis bigas. Pagdating sa pagdating sa personal, Diyos ko Lord. Ay, basta guys, kung hindi kayo Bisaya, i-search niyo yung Tabili. T-A-B-I-L-I, Tabili. Ako na lang mag-search inyo. Huwag na kayo na lang mag-search. Hay, akala ko ba abog lang tayo. Sa mga sa mga Tagalog natin na mga followers and viewers dito, ang abog ay dust in English. So tayo daw, dust lang daw tayo, sabi niya. Ako, hindi ko din matatawag na dust lang siya or abog. Lapok siya, guys, lapok. Lapok siya. Kanang dali lang bin, nakahilak naman ko kinatawa. Lapok siya. Alikabok pala. Yung abog in Tagalog is alikabok. Tapos, yung lapok is putik. So, hindi siya alikabok. Putik siya, guys. Putik. Anak ng putik. Sandali lang. I'm just sharing my good vibes today kasi itong photo na to, ito talaga yung ano eh. Ito yan talaga. It really made my day. Wala lang. So, before kayo manglait ng kapwa-tao ninyo ha, before kayo manglait, siguraduhin nyo na sem-sem yung mga filter ninyo sa social media at sa personal. Okay? Isa pa, sinabi niya pa na mayaman siya, pinanganak ng mayaman. Sige, ibigay natin yan sa kanya na siguro mayaman talaga yung pamilya niya. O sige, mayaman yung family niya. Pero siya, bakit nagkukalyong? Bakit nagkukalyong? Sa mga Tagalog dyan na hindi alam kung ano yung kukalyong, i-search nyo kung ano yung kukalyong. Ang kukalyong guys, ito yung mga barko na technically nagta-transport yan sila ng mga goods from other islands, ganyan. Kaso lang, of course, transport din sila ng mga tao, kumukuha din sila ng passengers, ganyan. Yan yung kukalyong. Tapos kung tourist ka sa kukalyong guys, ano lang yan, 1.5. Ang pinakamahal dyan, if I'm not mistaken, is the suite room nila. Or yung suite room nila na may aircon, maganda yung bed, ganyan. Ang hindi ko maintindihan, kung mayaman ka talaga, bakit hindi mo afford mag-book ng ticket? Bakit hindi niya afford mag-book ng airplane ticket? Eh mura lang naman. Cebu, Visayas and Mindanao, mura lang naman. Yung nasa Manila nga ako nagsistay, Sinulog. Sa day mismo ng Sinulog ako pumunta. For example, when my friend told me na pupunta siya ng Cebu tonight, say for example 11 PM, nag-book ako ng ticket papuntang Cebu 5 AM, tapos yung flight ko is 10 ata. Nag-book ako 1 AM, tapos yung flight ko is 8 AM. Afford guys, di ba? Pero hindi ko sinasabi na afford ko yung mga bagay, hindi ko sinasabi sa mga tao na mayaman ako, ganyan. Siguro nakaluwag-luwag sa buhay or medyo may income, ganyan, kasi may legit naman talaga na trabaho. So yun, pero if you are someone claiming na mayaman ka, ganito yung yaman mo, yung ibang tao, walang pera, mga abog lang, mga alikabok lang sila sa mundo, pero ang binook mo ay kukalyong. Bakit kukalyong? Kung tugo sana guys, maintindihan ko sana kung tugo. Kasi yung tugo, medyo mahal-mahal yung tugo eh. Pero kung kukalyong, kukalyong. Mag-research kayo. I dare you. Mag-research kayo. I-search yung kukalyong. I-search ako na lang mag-research sa inyo kung ano yung kukalyong, ha? Para alam niyo kung ano yung kukalyong. Kukalyong. Image. Okay? Ito yung kukalyong, guys. Guys, yan yung kukalyong. Yan. Yan yung kukalyong, guys. Ang kukalyong, guys. Ano na yan? Ang hirap ng Tagalog, no? Rusty. Rusty na yung kukalyong kasi old barko na yan. Tapos, okay lang sana kung kukalyong guys, kung nasa suite room nga, kasi okay, medyo mahal-mahal, ganyan. Kukalyong ka, tapos nag-tourist ka, tapos ang sinasabi mo, lilipat ka sa cabin dahil hindi mo na kaya yung init. Di ba inconsistent yung mga chika? Ay, Diyos ko Lord, ito talagang kukalyong na to. Hay. Kaya guys, next time, huwag kayong mangmaliit ng ibang tao dahil hindi nyo alam na yung ibang tao pala, sila pa yung mas may pera sa inyo. Hala, ang pangit pa na ng ko sa no? It's because of the light, dalawang parang ganito siya, oh. See, di ba? Sobrang puti pala ng mukha ko. Okay, I'll adjust the light na lang. Sige, enough with the kukalyong. Sige, let's talk about the Laglagan Festival na. In my previous post, if you guys are reading me, sinabi ko doon, in my previous interviews, rather. So, one of my interviews, nangyari siya sa Billionario Channel. So, I was asked by the news anchor, tinanong niya ako na, sa mga naririnig ninyo, ano pala yung basis nila for impeachment case, ganyan. So, I answered, like I said, allegedly, the congressman who signed the impeachment case against VP Sara, they are going to get 150 million 25 million for the ACAP, 25 million for the AX, and then 100 million for the infrastructure development project. So yan yung sinabi ko. They discredited me on that statement and they labeled me fake news peddler because nga wala naman daw akong basis and saan ko kinuha yung data na, yung information na yon. What they fail to understand is the question itself. The anchor mismo nagtanong na base sa mga naririnig nyo. And at that time, when the House of Representatives impeached VP Sara, yun yung lumabas sa mga information, 150 million per signature of the congressman. Okay, hinintay ko yung right time for this to be revealed. Okay? And just very, very recently, Toby Tiangco, okay? Toby Tiangco, guys, siya yung campaign manager ng Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. In one of his interviews, the recent interviews, sinabi niya na may bayaran talaga sa impeachment case ni VP Sara. And he is even blaming the leadership of Romualdez in the House of Representatives because sila yung nagtulak. They pushed through with the impeachment na alam naman nila na it is impossible to happen, especially during the election season. So nag-aaway-away na sila. Imagine ha, kaalyado nila si Toby and si Toby mismo ang nagsabi na may bayaran. So sino ngayon ang fake news? Ako na nagsasabi ng katotohanan or yung people na they are hiding the truth and then eventually it came out? It did not come from me. It came straight from the mouth of their ally, Toby Tiangco, the campaign manager of Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. And earlier, VP Sara had a press con. Tinanong siya, yung mga base sa yung sa impeachment, mga ganyan, and she answered, what I heard is 1.5 million and 6 million ang binigay just to sign my impeachment case. Why is that a problem, guys? It is a problem. This is because it's an executive matter. And if you allow someone from the House of Representatives or our congressman to meddle on the executive matter, especially on the monetary issues, that's already pork barrel. And pork barrel, according to the Supreme Court, is unconstitutional. Now, lahat ng mga congressman na yun na pumirma, if may proof na si VP Sara against them, and VP Sara can prove that what they did really is pork barrel, then lahat sila mananagot. That's why this 2025 midterm election is very crucial. Because again, this would determine the fate of our nation in the next 3 years before the 2028 elections. So ang mangyayari ngayon, guys, mag-change ng leadership yang sa House of Representatives. Bakit mo pa, di ba, i-risk yung political career mo by aligning with Romualdez if VP Sara and her team already has the proof to prove that there is really something wrong in the House of Representatives. Now, sinabi ni VP Sara na she suggested to Congressman Paulo Duterte na kukunin niya ang House speakership. Interesting, right? This is because pag makuha ni Kong Paulo ang House speakership, makakakuha na naman tayo ng mga allies. And those people who recently won and who signed the impeachment case of VP Sara, tatalikod na naman yan kay Romualdez and mag-aaslik yan sila kay Congressman Paulo. Interesting, right? This is what makes it more interesting. If Paulo will not be voted or will not get elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, he will get the minority post. And if he gets the minority post, tayo ang magiging opposition, guys. The real opposition. So, hindi na magiging opposition yung mga mga allies ni Risa Hontiveros, nila De Lima, because hindi naman talaga sila opposition ngayon. Sila ang Unipink. So, if Kong Paulo gets the minority leadership, then automatically, we will become the opposition. What's the pros and cons? Pag minority tayo yung mag-uupo sa lahat ng programs. And what's the cons? What's the pros? What's the positive aspect? We hold the data, we hold the details. And one big example there, guys, is the blank spaces in the bicameral report. What do you think is the main reason why the Supreme Court postponed the oral argument? Because they are not gonna win. The House of Representatives under the leadership of Romualdez and Zaldico, even including Stella Kimbo, they are not gonna win. Why? How can they legally and factually explain the blank spaces in the bicameral report when in fact the the people who used to be the opposition, say for example, Raul Manuel of Kabataan Party List, and the rest of his ilks, even said that they have not really noticed it until Vic Rodriguez and Congressman Ungab divulged to public that there are blank spaces in a bicameral report. And this is very easy to prove, guys. Why? Because even Amy Marcos said she did not sign the bicameral report because of the same observation that there are blank spaces. In one of her interviews, Stella Kimbo said na the blank spaces were filled in by the technical working group. And it is unconstitutional because if there are corrections within the bicameral report, even wrong spelling or basic grammatical errors, it will be given back to the plenary and they are going to vote whether or not this is already correct. And what they did, voila, they just let those people fill in the blank spaces. Now, how can Stella Kimbo prove that in the Supreme Court? Voila. Now, it's postponed. Supposedly, May 19. What date is today? May 17. 2 days na lang sana. Oral argument na. And sino yung makakalaban na sa oral argument? We have Attorney Vic Rodriguez. Gets? So imagine, they thought that the impeachment will be their best weapon to pin down VP Sara and her allies. What they miscalculated are the consequences and repercussions of their miscalculated moves. Right? So that's naganap in the House of Representatives. Now let's go to the impeachment. Recent interviews of Toby Chanko, if I'm not mistaken, ngayon naka-private na, hindi na inalaw ata because na-spread na siya, said that the impeachment is the reason of the dismal results of the recent senatorial election. Ang nangyari kasi, guys, let me reiterate this. There is no representative or candidate from Partido Federal, Bongbong Marcos political party, who won a senatorial seat. Wala. Kahit isa. Abalos, boom, ang layo. And that's after Abalos was endorsed by Vice Ganda and the rest of the Kakampamilya. The Kakampamilya. Yung mga celebrities na wala naman talagang alam sa politics na nakikialam, and because they have following, they thought that their followers are dumb, mag-i-endorse lang sila kahit hindi naman na-research yung background and everything. So yan yung nangyari kay Vice Ganda. And then Abalos did not win. Wala. Now, in terms of the political party of Martin Romualdez, the Lakas CMD, there's only one, Erwin Tulfo. Siya lang ang nanalo. So ito, ang bliname ni Toby Chanko is the move of Romualdez to fast-track the impeachment case. And Toby Chanko said that Bongbong Marcos did not even allow that to happen. Why is this important, guys? Why do we need to emphasize this situation? Because as I previously stated, Bongbong Marcos is not the only enemy. Hindi lang si Bongbong Marcos ang enemy natin. Maraming gumagalaw ngayon. There are power plays na nangyayari ngayon, guys. And one of the reasons actually why VP Sara resigned from being a part and a member of the Lakas CMD, it's because of that power play. That was also the time when VP Sara said, tambaluslus. Now, I hope nasundan na ninyo yung mga pangyayari, guys. So now, they are, pointing fingers kung sino talaga yung i-blame. According to Toby Chanko, walang nanalo sa kanilang party. It's because of the impeachment case. Last 2 days ago, sinabi ko sa inyo, sorry, I forgot. Sinulat ko pala. Sinabi ko, if you want to pin down someone who has 32 million vote counts, the highest ever vote counts recorded in Philippine history, don't expect na it would be easier for you to pin down that person. Why? You are not only demonizing or attacking that person, you are demonizing and attacking the people who voted for that person. So there are 32 million people na tinatapakan ninyo for you na ba-impeach lang talaga si VP Sara. You guys should respect democracy. In 2019, if I am not mistaken, in one of the speeches of former President Rodrigo Duterte, there was a move to impeach Vice President Leni Robredo. But because Duterte has respect to the democracy, he stopped and blocked the impeachment. Sinabi niya, stop that. Let's respect. The people have spoken. Siya ang pinili ng mga tao. Let her work. Parang ganyan yung non-verbatim. Pero ngayon, guys, tahimik si BBM because he thought na the political maneuver of Romualdez would succeed. What he failed to consider is the fact, guys, na the maneuver of Romualdez is so shallow that it would not only affect his speakership in the House of Representatives, but it would also affect the image, the reputation, and the performance of Bongbong Marcos. So, i-connect natin sa kay VP Sara. When VP Sara was asked, what do you think is the reason why natalo ang mga kandidato ni Bongbong Marcos or yung sa admin slate? Ang sinabi ni VP Sara, because of the president. Okay, let's highlight this, because of the president. Ang ibig sabihin niya, ang ibig niyang ipaabot sa mga watchers sa interview niya, guys, is ganito. Yung president kasi natin, maraming mga mga plataforma in 2022, maraming mga promises na hindi nabuo or hindi there are many promises that weren't implemented. So one of the promises that Bongbong Marcos said is the 20 kilos of rice. Okay? Ito yun eh. Ikaw, for example, ako bilang mahirap at anak ng isang ordinaryong Pilipino, di ba? Of course, if I hear a certain politician promising me for a 20 kilos rice, I would definitely vote for that person. Okay? So ito yung parang battle cry of Bongbong Marcos during his 2022 presidential campaign. Okay? For the past 3 years, from 2022 up until now, walang 25 kilo ng bigas. There are 25 kilos that are being offered in Kadiwa centers, but not everyone can take advantage of that. Only those people who are located in near the Kadiwa centers. And because Cebu is vote rich, guys, if I'm not mistaken, 2 million or 3 million or 1 million voters, ganyan na lang, in Cebu, they implemented the 20 kilos per kilo of rice, 20 pesos per kilo of rice. Sorry, per kilo of rice in Cebu. And they thought that it would help them win the elections. Ang hindi nila na-realize, guys, is the premature implementation of that project. And the bad timing. Because if they are really serious in providing people the 20 pesos per kilo of rice, then they could have done that in 2022 up until now. But it's very impossible. And what's the reason of it being impossible? The president. Because the president is useless. The president doesn't know how to think outside the box and tick all the boxes there in order to get that 20 kilos of rice. And in order for that to be implemented nationwide, not only in Cebu. Very questionable. Bakit Cebu? Vote rich. Sa Cebu lang ba ang may mga mahihirap? Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, walang exemption dyan. Maraming mga mahihirap. Right? So now, they cannot continue with that 20 pesos per kilo of rice because nga, binilisan nila yung planning and now it's not sustainable. Ginawa lang nila yan election time. And nakita nila after the election na the PDP Laban candidates, the senatorial candidates coming from the slate of Duterte, won in Cebu and Mindanao. Top 5, nasa PDP Laban. Ganyan ka-solid ang support ng mga Dutertes. And remember, hindi naglabas ng AKAP, hindi naglabas ng AX, hindi naglabas ng pera, hindi nag-vote buy ang PDP Laban or yung mga tao na in-endorse mismo ni VP Sara and ni Tatay Digong. Ngayon guys, wala na, nagkaletse-letse na sila. Now is the Laglagan Festival. Now they are pointing fingers na who is to blame. Toby Chanco, he is blaming Romualdez. Bongbong Marcos, he is blaming Romualdez. Romualdez, he is blaming the other side. And with VP Sara, she is eating popcorn, watching them shatter from all their dreams to become the next president and vice president of the country. Again, the eagle does not only fly, the eagle also takes notes. And VP Sara has taken notes of everything that they've done in the country. And our next move, impeachment. All we need to do is to get more numbers in the House of Representatives in order to kick out that president who doesn't know how to lead. The president who is currently acting as a puppet because nga walang bayag. Spineless president. When he allowed the ICC to enter the country, despite the billions of confidential and intelligence fund he has. It speaks volumes about his leadership. His leadership is so weak, and that is something that he doesn't want to accept. And sino yung nagbulgar niyan? Si Tatay Digong. Sinabi niya, you are a weak leader. Tatay Digong also attacked the House of Representatives by saying, you are the most rotten institution in the country. Boom! Dinala nila sa Hague si Tatay Digong, in-impeach nila si Sara. There are talks of baste, na isususpend. They attack Kong Pulong's project and programs. All because the Dutertes are resisting the tyranny that they are currently spreading across the nation. Right? Basa mo na ako ng comment. Dito ako sa kabilang phone kasi ang bilis dito. Okay. Oh. 39,000 views na pala ako. Ito. According to Tini, wala talagang magawa si BBM kasi alam ni Romualdez na addict siya. So kung di susunod si BBM, pwede siya i-impeach ni Romualdez. Possibly. Yeah. Next. I believe PRRD nung sinabi niya na weak leader si BBM, di ko talaga yan binoto. Okay? Thank you. Ito pa. Yun. Gold reserves, GAA, bangag, ano pa ba? Yes, yun. So guys, ang sinasabi ko nga, kahit saan tayo pupunta, either magiging opposition tayo, reasonable naman talaga yung mga DDS, yung mga Duterte supporters. Because nga, hindi tayo plastic, hindi tayo katulad ng mga kakampik ba na yung ginagawa nila is woke fishing. Okay, discuss ko lang konti itong woke fishing. Woke, yan, di ba? Mga wokes, mga ganyan, mga walking ina nila, ganyan. Hindi guys, yung woke fishing, kung woke ka kasi, you are parang showing other people na you are into progressive movements, you are into reforms, you are into good governance, you are into anti-corruption, mga ganyan-ganyan. So yan yung mga woke ngayon, di ba? Sinasabi na they advocate for human rights, kaya ganyan. Sabi nila, kahit mga NPA na namatay, mga human rights, kahit yung mga drug addict na namatay, may human rights. So ganyan yung mga woke. Now, if ang reason talaga nila in doing that, it's not activism. It's marketing. Why? They are marketing themselves to the people who share the same belief with them. Lalo na yung mga woke nga, mga Gen Z, mga ganyan. Kasi, if you guys are sharing the same belief na, it would be easier for you to build connection. Now, if you are able to build connection na, easier for you to engage with them romantically, sexually, whatever. Kaya sa nakikita niyo ngayon, kung puntahan niyo yung Twitter, yung X, ang makikita niyo halos doon ay mga kakamping na, nagbembangan, mga 5, mga 3, mga 4, mga by group, mga ganyan. Yung mga nagja-jack and poy, holy sa camera, proud na pinapakita yung mga Boratism nila, mga ganyan. And they're proud of it because again nga, may human rights na sila ganyan. So yan yung gusto nila. They want to build connections by doing mga fake activism and fake advocacies. Kasi nga, it would be easier for them to penetrate the group. And there, they can build connections, they can build networks. So yan yung woke fishing na tinatawag natin. But if you are going to scratch them beneath and ask them what exactly is the reason why you're supporting the ICC, wala silang maisagot. And if you're gonna ask them, what about the issue on jurisdiction? You said that we are a sovereign country and we should fight for our rights as Filipinos. But then you allowed a certain foreign entity to judge a case of a Filipino. Hindi yan nila maisagot. And if you're gonna ask them, okay, why are you so silent with the government now silencing the Duterte supporters, the bloggers, the vloggers, and you are advocate of free speech? Why are you so silent now? They cannot answer that. Why? Because it's fake activism and fake advocacy. They are fake advocates of the causes that they want to have in the country. But the moment you ask them that, they can't answer because again, wala naman talaga silang alam. They just need to build connections and networks with the people who are sharing the same belief with them. Yan yung woke fishing. So kung nakikita nyo yung mga one-liner argument ng mga kakamis, tama nga kami, kulay rosas ang bukas, liwanag sa dilim. But if you're gonna ask them, how come naging liwanag, marami namang, how come naging liwanag sa dilim si Leni Robredo, when in fact, Naga and Davao City are completely different cities. Mahirap ang Naga, mayaman ang Davao, debt-free ang ang Davao. How about Naga? Paano naging liwanag sa dilim si Leni Robredo? And they can't answer that. Ang sasabihin nila sa inyo, because you're a blind follower, you are Dutertards, you are DDS. Yan yung sinasabi nila. So they are projecting that the DDS or the Duterte supporters are the one following blind fanaticism when in fact it's them who are blind followers. Mga blind loyals, mga ganyan. Yun. That's woke fishing. So that's also one of the reasons why you cannot see kakampings na parang kakampings discussing issues, national issues, local issues, because they are only parang promoting Leni Robredo. Di ba, liwanag sa dilim, marami, kulay rosas ang bukas, mga ganyan, kulay rosas ang mga bukas, ganyan. Yun. The world is healing, ganyan. Di ba, when FPRRD was unlawfully arrested, yung mga post nila is, the world is healing. Girl, ikaw nga yung problema, ikaw yung salot sa kalibutan. Di ba? Ikaw yung salot sa mundo. Ikaw yung cancer sa lipunan. Bakit maging the world is healing? Ikaw nga yung problem, di ba? Di ba? Yun. Katulad ng Bini, di ba? Okay, balikan natin kasi may nag-mention about Bini dito. Okay, I called out Bini. I'm a fan of Bini. Honestly ha, this is no longer a joke. I'm a fan of Bini. Pag nasa law school kami, pag nag-study kami ng mga friends ko, mga law school buddies ko, Bini music yung ano namin, pinapatugtog. Because nga, we love Bini and everything. When I call them out, yung mga OA nila na nagmamask-mask, lumabas yung mga kakampings, they are bashing me because I'm a Duterte supporter. Pag Duterte supporter daw, bobo and everything, parang ganyan. Yun, grabe bashing, pero wala kasi yung impact sa akin, guys. Yung mga bashing ninyo or yung mga haters ko, yung mga post nila about me, wala akong pakialam. Actually, wala talaga akong pakialam because I am my own person. I can travel in and out the country. I can eat in fancy restaurants, you know. I can buy my clothes. I can afford to buy all the things that I want in life. So I'm completely okay with my life now. I'm earning better too, parang ganyan. Just, like before, parang ganyan. So I'm completely okay. So wala akong pakialam sa mga bashing. Ang hindi ko maintindihan at that time, guys, they considered Bini, di ba? They considered Bini as the bastion of parang goodwill, the ambassadors of goodwill na dapat ganito ang Bini, ganito sila, ganito, ayan, mga bata yan, ganyan-ganyan. Di ba yan yung sinabi nila kay ano? Yan yung sinabi nila sa mga Bini. Tapos ako yung pinaka-negative sa mata nila. Now, yung grooming issue sa Bini lumabas. Yung may nag-leak na video, nasaan sila? Kinall out ba nila yung Bini? If they are really advocates of goodwill, mga ganyan, yung righteousness na tinatawag natin, they should have called out Bini. Dapat, you know, if that's the same bashing na ginawa nila sa akin, ginawa nila sa Bini, but hindi nila ginawa because nga they are fake advocates. Yan yung woke fishing. Yan yung woke fishing na tinatawag. And mostly ang gumagawa niyan ay yung mga kakampings talaga. Kasi hindi naman talaga yan sila mga matalino. Halos sa kanila walang alam sa politics and they cannot even write a simple analysis of what's going on sa country natin. But they have all the audacity and the oozing confidence to bash people when they don't understand the arguments of that group of people. Yan yung mga kakampings, okay? Sige. Bini. But speaking of Bini, hindi pa kasi ako tapos, guys. Actually, hindi pa talaga ako tapos. Speaking of Bini kasi, ito yung tanong ko na hindi nyo pa nasagot actually. Ito ba yung 9th member ng Bini? Ito ba yung 9th member ng Bini? Yan. Si Bini Jam. Ay, hindi. Ito. On May 27, 2025, VP Sara will go to Doha, Qatar para i-meet niya yung mga OFWs na na-detain daw, allegedly for protesting, for doing the prayer rally sa Qatar. Tama, yes. And on May 31, VP is going to The Hague to celebrate her birthday. Don't forget to send her your birthday wishes, ha? And also, magkakaroon tayo ng Send PRRD Home rally in front of The Hague. Tinatapos lang nila yung mga clearance for the permits and everything. Ngayon, ganyan. And after that, mag-continue yun, yung sa mga OFWs natin. Magpapasalamat na din si VP Sara because yung PDP Laban ay nanalo sa ating mga OFWs. So, magkakaroon tayo ng mga series of prayer rallies na Send FPRRD Home. And at the same time, the team of VP Sara sa impeachment niya, they are very, very ready. Ang sinabi pa ni VP Sara, ay ito pa guys, okay. Pag naririnig niyo yung mga members ng House of Representatives, yung mga young guns, yung mga young buwang guns, mga ganyan, di ba sinasabi nila that VP Sara is not answering the questions pertaining her confidential fund? Ang problem kasi guys, in all honesty, hindi nila ini-invite si VP Sara. Sa mga hearings nila, ang ini-invite nila, let me make this clear ha, ang ini-invite nila ang mga OVP employees, yung mga ordinary OVP employees. Hindi nila sinisendan ng invitation si VP Sara to attend the hearing. And there was one time, umattend si VP. Ang sinabi kasi sa rules ng House of Representatives, if you are the resource person, you are not obliged to take your oath. Only the witnesses. And VP Sara was invited as a resource speaker and not as a witness. That's why VP Sara contested it by saying na, according to your rules, only the witness can take an oath, but not the resource persons. And when VP Sara raised that to the committee, naano sila lahat, nawin lang silang lahat, oh my God, natalo tayo, ganyan-ganyan. And then, VP Sara stayed for a while. Hindi tinanong si VP Sara. Ang tinatanong nila, ang mga ordinary OVP employees. So nagtatanong si VP Sara, why are they not asking me questions? Ako yung nandun. Wala. Now, fast forward. Yung hearing na, di ba? Hinaras na nila si Attorney Zulaika Lopez. Ginawa na, nakadetain na siya sa House of Representatives, ganyan. Tapos, sa last hearing, pumunta si VP Sara. Ang sinabi na naman ni Joel Chua, you should take your oath, ganyan. So sabi ba, okay, let's do this. So nag-take ng oath si VP Sara. Now guys, for how many hours or minutes ba yun? Hindi na naman nila tinanong si VP Sara. Alam naman si VP Sara yung mag-raise ng hand niya, hey, ask me questions, I'm willing to answer. Wala. Pero ano yung narrative ng mga young attack dogs, yung mga walang nagawa sa kanilang lipunan? For example, yung si Paulo Ortega, ang pobre naman ng La Union. Nag-tourist spot pa yung La Union ha, pero ang pobre naman dyan, honestly, to be honest, when I was there, ang pangit talaga. Diyos ko Lord, kainainan namin lang 7-Eleven, tapos when it comes to food, medyo mahal, wala naman, hindi naman masarap, ganyan. So, pangit yung tourism nila dyan. Pangit talaga yung La Union in all honesty. So, this is my opinion as a traveler. Yun sila, si Adyong, ang pobre naman ng Lanao, di ba? Wala masyadong development. Si Adyong, si Paulo Ortega, si Rog, ano bang nagawa ng One Rider Party List? Di ba? Yun sila, pati na to si Migs Nograles. Di ba? Yung mga young guns, ang narrative nila is, bakit hindi kayang sagutin ni VP Sara, ganyan? Gusto nila na sagutin ni VP Sara. The moment na VP Sara is present during the hearing, hindi naman nila tinatanong. Naintindihan nyo? Hindi nila tinatanong. So what's there to answer if they are not asking VP Sara questions about her confidential fund during the hearing? Ang ginawa nila, during the budget hearing, doon nila tinanong yung confidential funds. We are talking about the 2025 budget. Bakit hindi nila tinanong ang confidential fund in 2023 and 2024? Why are they only asking about the confidential fund in 2025 budget? I hope na intindihan nyo yan, guys. So, ang sinabi ni VP, ito na yung main point ko talaga. Ang dami kong segue, no? Ang sinabi ni VP, gusto niya na mag-trial sa Senate, sa impeachment niya, because she wants it to be a bloodbath. Again, gusto niya ito maging bloodbath. If you know what she meant by that, then get excited, guys. This is going to be a bloody battle. Yan ang talaga ang masasabi ko. Bakit? It is because VP has all the pieces of evidence to prove that the confidential fund was not corrupted. It was not pocketed by any of the people she asked to release the confidential funds. The only thing that the COA needs when it comes to confidential fund, guys, is certification. What VP did, she submitted both certifications and receipts. And VP has all the receipts. Now, ginawa nilang issue, yung mga Mary Grace Piatos and everything, that's very, very easy to rebut. That's very, very easy to refute. So, no need to worry about that, guys. Ang i-worry nyo na lang, guys, is yung backgrounds and budget ng mga senatorial judges. Tingnan ninyo. I-research niyo lahat, pati mga pamilya nila, lalo na sa DPWH, kung may mga contracts yan sila dyan, ganyan. I-research niyo because nga, it's going to be a bloody battle. And, ito pa guys, lahat ng mga senatorial judges, they are now aligning themselves to Vice President Sara Duterte. This is because they found out that she still has the influence and the power to become the next president of the Philippines. Now, if VP Sara becomes the next president of the country, it would be a reset of everything. Those people who signed for her impeachment, who received money from Tambaluslos, graft and corruption cases will be filed against them. Okay? Those abusive congressmen, they will be receiving human rights complaints. Trust me, it's only my analysis. I'm saying this is the truth, ha? But believe me, hindi ako nagkakamali. Charot. Rudy Baldwin ba? Ganyan. Hindi, well, on a serious note, yeah. one of the reasons bakit nila ginagamit ngayon ang kaso ni Gwen Garcia sa ombudsman, because there are talks, there are rumors, guys, na they want to remove the Martires, yung sa ombudsman, office of the ombudsman, yung head ng office of the ombudsman. They said that they want him removed. Why? Ito kasing PDP, sila Attorney Topacio, sila Attorney Torion, sila Attorney Jimmy Bondoc, sila Attorney Vic Rodriguez, nag-file kasi sila ng graft and corruption cases sa House of Representatives, including Romualdez, Zaldico, Stella Kimbo, Adalipe, and sino pa yung, and marami pang iba. And those cases, guys, are gumagalaw. Those cases are moving. Hindi siya dormant, hindi siya stagnant in the office of the ombudsman. And if the ombudsman decides that there are really graft and corruption practices that have taken place during Romualdez speakership in the House of Representatives, boom! That's the biggest demolition job they will ever receive. It's a demolition job, not propaganda related, but it's a demolition job because they demolish themselves by doing some corrupt practices, guys. So ngayon, the cases are moving. It's not dormant. And konting-konti na lang, konting kembot na lang, boom, may makukulong, may makakasuhan. That's why ngayon, triggered sila masyado and they're now pointing their fingers and naglaglagan na sila. Uso na yung Laglagan Festival. And as you can see, there will be change of management ngayon. Marami na namang tatanggalin, guys, ng mga heads ng agencies. Why? Para it would be hard to trace paper trails, guys, para mapanagot lahat ng mga kasabwat ni Bongbong Marcos and ni Martin Romualdez sa kanilang kaputang inahan dyan sa Malacanang. Yes. Again, natutulog lang yung eagle. And in all honesty, sabi niya pa, I need to work with the administration because nga the battle cry last elections is unity. We are unity. Pero trinaydor nila si VP Sara. Inimpeach pa ng House of Representatives. Kinidnap pa nila si Tatay Digong. Hinaras ang mga OVP employees. And now nagtanim pa sila ng mga kandidato dito sa Davao just to take control of the Duterte bailiwick, the stronghold of the Duterte. What they fail to realize, guys, is the mere fact that Davaoenos are not for sale. And the same battle cry that Davaoenos spread across the nation, that Filipinos are not for sale. And despite all the ayudas, despite all the assistance that they are giving out, they did not win in Visayas and Mindanao. They did not win. Even in Cebu, one of the vote-rich places in the country, they did not win. So again, we still have the numbers. Bongo, Duterte aligned. The reason as to why he became a senator, it's because of Rodrigo Duterte. And then now, he topped the ranking of senatorial candidates. Top 1, and that's 27 million. Now, if we think, I mean, if the Bongbong Marcos administration thinks that VP Sara doesn't have the number, think again. VP Sara has 32 million, Bongo has 27 million. So there's a big possibility that the vote counts that VP Sara will be getting in 2028 if she opts to run for president would be around that range, 27 million to 32 million. And now, VP Sara has proven herself that it's not Bongbong Marcos who made her win. It is VP Sara who made Bongbong Marcos won. Bongbong Marcos did not work, ha? He was very busy recently campaigning for the Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. Halos present siya, siya pa yung nag-announce doon and everything. But then again, his endorsements did not result to votes. It did not convert to big vote counts. But VP Sara, Aimee is so hard to sell because she's a Marcos. But because many people believe VP Sara, Aimee Marcos made it on the top 12. Camille Villar is so hard to sell to people because of the prime water issue, and she's a Villar. But VP Sara endorsed her, and now Camille Villar is the top 10. Bongbong Marcos endorsed Abalos. Vice Ganda endorsed Abalos. And the rest of the Kakamputa cult endorsed Abalos. Did he win? He is currently suffering from a very massive electoral defeat. And that speaks volumes about Bongbong Marcos' influence. If not because of VP Sara, Bongbong Marcos will not become the president of the Philippines. If not because of VP Sara, he is going to lose against Vice President Leni Robredo. And if not because of VP Sara, 2022 to 2028 could have been the year of yellows, the liberal parties again. But now, VP Sara is flying like an eagle, watching all the earthworms crawling their grounds, seeking for their support because they have nothing to offer. They have nothing to show, and they don't have strong political basis that would back them out in the next elections. And this all became possible because VP Sara has you, VP Sara has every one of us. If it is not because of us who is there relentlessly supporting her, impossible sana lahat. But we made it possible. So now, we have the numbers, we have the upper hand in all the cases, including the impeachment, and we will make sure that in 2028, it will be Duterte again who will emerge as victorious and who will reset the dying country, which is the Philippines. Yan lamang po, magandang hapon. Charot. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening guys. So, yun na yung topic natin ngayon. So, Laglagan Festival, naglaglagan na sila kasi nga wala na silang magawa. And then, yung advertisement natin kanina, si Jam Magno, yun na yun siya. Pagpasensyahan nyo na lang kasi alam nyo naman kung hindi na yun ano yung mga pag-iisip natin, di ba? Ganyan talaga yung mangyayari. Magkukal yung charot. So na guys, thank you so much for listening and for watching my live. I know na 59. Sige, one more minute na lang to make it an hour. Yeah, let's stay solid. Marami pa akong skincare reveal. Wala akong skincare. Actually lang ako. Anong tawag dyan? Nag-sunscreen. Tapos may light lang talaga kasi bumili ako ng 2 lights para maganda yung kaya medyo lang siya. Pero hindi talaga ako makinis. Look at that pimple. I had it injected kahapon guys because it's so big. But I'm proud of it. I'm not pangit naman. Okay. Ano pa? Tinodong post ni Richard Hidarian na nagreklamo si BG na wala siya tabang. No, that's fake news. So, for someone who claims to be coming from the Southern Europe level of, shit, all those things, hindi niya na double check na it's fake news. So, Richard Hidarian is a fake news peddler. So, huwag kayong maniwala dyan. Lahat naman ng analysis niya hindi nagkatotoo. Buti pa ako, I'm not even claiming that I'm a political scientist. I'm not even claiming that I'm a political analyst. I'm just writing my opinions online. But most of my opinions, it became the reality. Si Richard Hidarian, lahat ng pinagsasabi niya walang tama. Again guys, thank you so much for listening.